This is an Aston Martin Vantage. These prices are mental. Even the guy on the rostrum can't believe someone's bidding. Oh no, not like this again. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome back to the channel, and we have had a really good month at work for the first time in a really long time. When I say a really good month, I haven't lost any money this month. So that has come as a direct result of selling quite a few cars, and as such, unfortunately, I hate doing this, but I'm going to have to buy some from auction because I'm struggling to find decent stock at the moment. So I'm going to talk you through what I'm looking at today, and then we're going to dive straight into the auctions and see what actually sells, what it sells for, and see if I can buy any. Now, I have got about 30 cars that I'm looking at today, so there's quite a few to look at. However, I've been here so many times before and not won them that I'm not getting my hopes up too much. However, I've got some really interesting stuff on the list. So what I'm going to do is I'm on G3 here, which is a great auction company. Just dive into Tracked. And I'm just going to show you kind of what I've got on the list and why I'm finding it interesting. So there's some bread and butter stuff, which I need, and then there's some exciting stuff. And when I say exciting, like really exciting stuff that might be big profit margin cars, which are nice to have in because you don't sell them often, but when you do, it really helps the month in which you've just sold them in. So let's have a look at what's on the list briefly, shall we? We've got a Volvo XC60. That to me looks like a bit of bread and butter, although surprisingly expensive, these cars. Now this to me looks like it's probably a 28 grand car. Now it's a grade 4, which isn't ideal, and you can see it's got some damage on the front bumper there, and it's a new bumper job, isn't it? And the bonnet looks like it's got a dent in it. Now that for me isn't the end of the world. It's certainly not what you call a crash damaged car. It's just had a bit of a love tap in a car park. Bonnet looks a little bit misaligned. Rear bumper looks a bit ropey as well, actually, from that angle. No, might not be for me, that. But if it's really cheap, I'll have a go on it. Other bits that I find interesting here, so it's got a VW Scirocco, bread and butter, nice grading. I'm dying to know what Range Rovers are doing at the moment. It's been a long time since I've bought a Range Rover. And when I say a long time, I've only ever had one in stock. I'm not buying that one, though. Not buying that. I'm not buying that, and I'll tell you exactly why. If you look at one of my videos I've done in the past about buying a mistake from an auction, it was from this company. Now, it's fine. The only way to get rid of cars that have got a problem, you put them into auction, usually. But that car had the wrong engine in it. Now, if they're not willing to sell this, bumper looks the wrong colour for a start. Who is? I bet that is going to be really, really cheap because retail on it looks about 23 grand on that car. I think that's going to go cheap. I'm also interested in this potentially for myself. So I am looking to buy a couple of cars in particular at the moment. I'm trying to buy a Porsche Cayenne for myself. I need a 4x4. I sold the VW Touareg, whatever, to a subscriber who's also in the motor trade. Really nice bloke, and he's happy with the car. That's done, put to bed, but I'm regretting it because I no longer have my own car anymore. So I'm looking for something sort of SUV-ish, that's fairly reliable, that I can just run myself. And I'm after a Cayenne, ideally sub 10 grand. There's been a couple I've missed out on recently, but then this has popped up, and this looks like it could be value. So 145,000 miles, it's a 2-litre diesel, but a hybrid. We have had an issue with one of these recently, if you look at one of my previous videos. However, it's coming in from Redline Racing. Now, Redline Racing have got a good reputation. It's a business based up in Knaresborough, and they sell some serious tackle. Guy called Rob that owns the company. Now this, it's got a load of really good service history on here. It looks in kind of, it's saying it's a grade 4, so look at the condition of it. Don't know why it's photographed that, but it has. Oh, there's some clips missing. There's a mark on the seat, another mark on the seat. A lot of interior problems, but again, done 150k. Interior stuff is fine, I've not got a problem with that. Wheels is fine, not got a problem with that. Scratch on the door edge, something to do with the front bumper. Ooh, rear tail light required. It's a bit bitty, but that's fine. This is something I would never retail because of the mileage. I'm buying it purely for me. Now, it's got a good number of previous owners. They're saying there's a mileage discrepancy between service history and VOSA. I've been here before. Sometimes when a car dealer sells a car, he'll put a mileage in for some reason. They decide to do it, and it can sometimes contradict what's on VOSA. Not the end of the world. Again, not for me. However, this car, retail looks like 15 grand with that mileage on. Makes it the cheapest in the land. There's not many with those miles. I'm wondering if it can come at 10. At 10,000 quid. that is a lot of smoker for Rob. So I've got that in mind. However, there's some more exciting stuff. When I say exciting, really exciting stuff. So there's an RS7 there, which I really like the look of, but it worries me that Redline have put this into an auction, because that, for me, is the sort of car they would probably retail themselves. So there's always a bit of a, why are you selling that, boys? Why are you not having a go on it? Yeah, so I kind of don't know where we're at on that RS7. There's a few others that are also really interesting. There's a 911 Carrera 4S manual. Now, I sold one of these for about 22 grand, similar mileage, similar number of owners, albeit in blue. Sold it to a collector last year. Might have been the year before, actually. So it'd be interesting to see what that does. Bread and butter stuff. We've got a Golf on there, an X1 on there, an A-Class, a 3 Series, GLA, slightly high mileage, but we'd still buy it. A1, Tiguan, 4 Series, and a Bath, which we always seem to do well with, although in red, usually a bit of a funny one. Astra, Range Rover Vogue, which I quite fancy for myself. There's a bit of a pattern forming here. Quite fancy this one for myself. It's got okay service history, up to 58. It's a nice looking car, nice spec, dark blue, black interior, no pan roof. Just, again, interesting to see what these sort of cars are making in auction at the moment. Now, there is the star of the show for me coming up, which is a really brave buy. This is an Aston Martin Vantage. Now, it is a 4.7, so it's the proper engine. They do a 4.2, 4.7. 4.7, in my opinion, sounds better, and it is a gorgeous spec. Look at that colour. So it's really bright silver, and there are a few problems with this car that I'm going to go into in a moment, but look at the colour of the interior as well. It is just gorgeous, absolutely beautiful. Now, a few problems with this car. Problem number one, there is no service history, apparently. Now, I know on an Aston Martin Vantage that the service history is usually kept in like a leather folder, which is actually the manual for the car. Now, I have had it before where I've bought cars from auction and the service history has been there, it's just people didn't know where to look. Now, I know this is a fairly unusual car to run through an auction. I don't know if John Clark Motor Group up in, I think they're in Scotland, know where the service history would be. And it just seems bizarre to me that the service history on something like that would be lost. I don't buy it. That's risky in its own right. There are a couple of other problems with this car. So when we look at the condition report, it's got a bit of an issue with an engine light. These can be bad for coil packs. They can be bad for sensors. They can be bad for all sorts. Now, it is showing emission system service required. So is that like a lambda sensor? Little bit of a risky one. However, these engines are pretty decent, to be fair. Pretty much cast out of pig iron. You can't really go too far wrong with them. So I don't think it's going to be anything massive. But Aston Martin tax can be pretty brutal. Now, there's a couple of other bits, a couple of blemishes. You'll always get issues around door handles with these. So it comes as no great shock that there is some corrosion around the door handle on this car. So it needs a bit of work. Rear lights fogged up, really common issue on these. Same with the front lights as well, or there's a modification that you can do to sort it. I just think this could be a really special car. I feel like it's got service history, and I feel, I mean, 4 previous keepers as well, it's a 5-owner car. It's not like it's been passed around a lot. Ooh. So the express checks, what they're telling me, engine's not running okay and the engine management light is on. I think this could be the star of the show for me. Now, I've had a quick look as to what this might retail for, and the retail price in this car suggests actually near enough £40,000. However, there's not many for sale. There's a company who sells a lot of them. They've got 3 out of the 5 that are for sale. And the other chap is based at a place in York. He's not a million miles from me, and he's priced his really, really keen. I reckon retail on that to get out the door this summer, rather than next summer, is probably 35 or 36 grand. So you've then got to factor in that you've got an engine light, and we don't know what it is. Service history situation, we're hoping that we know what it is. And also you've got issues with cosmetic stuff on here as well. I think the bid to buy this car is 23 grand. Because I think that's going to give you 3 grand-ish to kind of get it right and running, etc. And then obviously you've got your fees on top, etc. I reckon it's going to give you a spread of maybe 7 grand, which is probably what you want on something like this. So that's going to be a really interesting one to watch. Unfortunately, it's early on in the auction as well. Now, that can be a gift and a curse for me because I've not got my bidding socks on just by then. So we'll see what else comes up. Got a couple of other bits. Nice looking A7 that looks like it's been thrown around the streets of Birmingham for a few years, but that again could make a nice car. Has it got any service history? Yeah, nice service history. 4-owner car. Carmula, that's a snatchback if ever I saw one. How many keys? 2. Okay, might be a handback. Okay, so lots to look at. There's some exciting stuff coming through. It'd be interesting to see what the Range Rovers do. It'd be interesting to see what that Volvo with the high mileage does. And it'd be interesting to see whether or not we buy a few bread and butter cars and hopefully that Aston Martin Vantage, if that comes at the right money, I just think it's worth a bid. But I've got a feeling it isn't going to sell for the money I want to buy it for. So we're going to sit down, strap up, get another coffee in. Oh, let's get into auctions. So we are live at the auctions. Now people question why I don't go to auctions physically, and there are times where I should do. So for example, this Aston Martin would be a really good time to be going to the auctions. However, I've done it before. I'm really picky with what I buy, and I will spend a full day or 4 or 5 hours down at the auctions trying to buy something and come away with nothing. Whereas with this, I can be working, operating the business and still doing an auction at the same time. Yes, I've had cars turn up that I've thought, that's not quite as good as I thought it was going to be, and I've lost 200-300 quid trying to paint something I didn't think I'd have to paint or whatever. But when you add it up over the year, the amount of time that I save, it just makes sense. So I know it seems a little bit bizarre, but it just makes sense. Now, the good thing, G3 tend to be fairly honest and transparent with their descriptions as well, so it does make my life a bit easier. Sounds like I'm plugging G3, I promise I'm not. They're just an auction company to me, but they've been fair in the past, and credit where credit is due. So we've got the first car coming through here, which I'm not bidding on, so it's of no concern to me, but then I'm bidding on lot 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, 12, 14, 16, 24, 27, 37. So there's going to be a load back to back that I'm going to be on here. So I'm hoping we can get some decent motors in. So we're starting off with the B class, which is something that I've never had in stock before, but it could come at the right money. And if it comes at the right money, then we're getting excited, aren't we? So let's wait for them to start firing some cars through. Here's the first car, Mercedes B class. Never had one in stock before. Apparently they're okay news. I'll go 6.5 on this. Oh no, not like this again. Oh, this is the problem. And this is why I don't like auctions. You're buying something you don't know about anyway, so it's a bit of a risk. 8 grand. Right, so the problem with that car, so it's just gone for 81. Oh, I'm on the next one anyway. I can whinge about that later. Right, so my maximum bid on this car is £9,000. So this is a bit of a weird one, this 420, because it's silver with like a grey leather, so it's a bit of a weird spec. It's not a spec that I would buy personally, so I find it difficult to get excited about it. It's done 44k, it's nice. It's got a nice bit of history with it as well from memory. Oh, no history. How is it making nearly 10 grand? That car will have sold for 10,000. I'm on the next one. Volvo V40. Bit of me this. 7 grand maximum bid. I think. Has it got history with it? History. Yeah. Let it calm down a little bit. Who's buying this? Right, so that went for £8,200. I think retail on that car is 10.5 with the wind behind it. Take away 8,200, gives you 2,300 to start off with. Now, that's before you pay your fees, and it depends which band that you're on. So you're paying 300 quid in fees, so it gives you a 2 grand margin on that car. Now, the car was a grade 3, which means it needs some bits doing to it. So you've got what? Let's call it 300 quid in prep, leaves you 1,700 quid. Take away your VAT, leaves you 1,400 quid as a margin. I'm not a greedy bloke, but who is working for a margin of 1,400 quid when everything else is so expensive to run a business? This is why I really struggle with auctions. I just find them difficult. Oh, I feel like I'm just going to have a day of this. This is why I don't go. As you go down, you get something that a guy called Jamie Capel rightly refers to as auction fever. By the way, YouTube channel called Car Lateral, chap, mate of mine called Jamie set one up. He's got a very unique way of doing things. You might want to check it out. Car Lateral, nice bloke, and he deserves every success in the world, that man, because he's actually a nice guy. So let's just have a quick look here. We've got 5 series coming through. I know Jamie bids at these auctions as well, and the chances are he is an animal in an auction. If he wants it, he'll pay retail, well, Jamie, he doesn't care. It's not that bad. Right, Range Rover, this will be interesting. This looks like 23 grand retail, this car. Apparently it's all okay. It's a V8 as well, actually. I've just spotted that. V8 autobiography. That's like full fat, all that you want. 15 grand with 23 grand retail. Someone's bought a chunk of margin in that car, but they might well need it. Okay, so we're now getting into stuff that I actually want to buy. This Aston Martin's going to be really interesting. I think it needs to be 23 or 24 grand when it comes through there. I just don't think that the person putting it in is going to take 23 or 24 grand on it. It is coming up now.
Right, Ken, what have we got for that pretty thing? Right, Ken, what have we got for it? You tell me. Tell me with a big, come on then. Go on then, £28 a down. Online, 28 bid. £28 a bid, a little bit, 28 with a bit online, with a bit, £28 a bid, a little bit there, with a bit, 28 bid. £28 a bid, a little bit more.
Now, it has to be said as well, the other thing I've spotted on this, these are online bidders. They are not stood there in the hall listening to what that car sounds like. So something that I'm always really funny with as well is I want to make sure that the car, I obviously can't hear it, so I want to make sure it sounds right, and if no one bids in the hall, that's telling me it doesn't necessarily sound right. Someone's buggered up there, because if you look at that car and go, yes, it's 40 grand retail, and you go, I've maybe not looked at the assured report to see the engine light is on, and I'm not down there so I can't hear it to know that it sounds all right, you're looking at that going, I bought a car with a 10 grand margin. I think someone's going to end up with problems there. This will be interesting to watch. So, these cars have got issues with IMS bearings. Everybody knows it, and if it hasn't been done, it needs to be done. I think it's 20 to 22 grand retail. Someone's already thrown 14 grand at it. I think that's probably its money. I don't think it's worth much more than that, boys. I think that's the money for that car. That's the only car that's gone through so far that I thought, you know what it is, if someone came in on a part exchange, I'd probably pay 14 for it. However, again, if it's not had the IMS bearing done, it's a very expensive job to do. So I think someone's got a decent car there for the money. Oh, I'd like to get a decent car for the money. We've got loads coming up. I've got an entire morning of this. I don't want a red MG. I had a white one in that I sold eventually, but it took ages, and it was a beautiful car. Bought it off the guy that owns a body shop down the road. Had a lot of overspray on it because he parks it outside his unit, sprays his car, and they all go anyway. Oh right, this is a bit of me, this one. Okay, so this come back from a finance company. Could be a snatchback. It could be handed back. It's got 2 keys.
Looking at nearly 24,000 pounds.
No way is that car going to sell for 24 grand. That's 28 retail, mint. It's got service issue that isn't great. It's got damage on the front. Yes. There's no one in the hall bidding on that car, and it is £9,000 under one hall bid. He's thought, sod it, I'll have a stab at that.
You're both at 19.2 online. 3 in the hall. 19.3.
It's Jamie! It's bloody Jamie! I recognise that man in his gilet any day of the week. Jamie, mate, you've bought a hell of a margin. It'd be really interesting to see what you do with that. I see you.
Okay, that's provisional. Right, grand line.
He's always there. I hate bidding against him. There's no point bidding against Jamie because when he's got a car that he wants to buy, he is buying it. So all I'll be doing there is bidding a mate up. He's going to win it. So there's no point even sticking a bid on. That and a car that's got that damage on the front is probably absolutely fine. Now he's really well geared up. He's got all the right shop and everything. All the equipment that he needs to do the work on it. I believe they've got a body shop in-house. And he's there looking at it and he's going, that's not as bad as it looks or whatever. Jamie, mate, I think that's a decent car. Be interesting to see if you actually end up buying that. There's this one.
Service history, 6 stamps. And only the 2 former keepers. 2 former keepers according to HPI.
I think this car's worth 10.
And twice.
It's a gift. At some point I might buy something. I'm really annoyed about that Aston, but I think someone's got themselves in a bit of a pickle there. Be interesting to see even when that comes onto market. But here comes the X1 that I don't want to buy. So, 7.5 grand is the most I'll pay for that car. There we go, we're on 7.6 already. Someone's just outbid Jamie on a car. This is news. Worthy news. Right, we've got a load coming through here. So we've got an A-class. No history. Has that got a pan roof? It has, hasn't it? Might be worth a bit more retail than I thought that, but I've got sort of 15 grand in my head.
Good effort. £12,400, but all done. Selling twice.
This is how tight it is for car dealers at the moment. There's people here working on 1,500 quid as a margin, but when you mass market, it's not the end of the world. For us, we can't do it. 82 was the most I'd go. This is exactly why I don't go to auctions. This is exactly why I don't go down there, because that car's 9.5 grand, is it? Retail looks 11.5 grand to me, maximum. It's £2,000 before you knock your fees off. I sound like a broken record, it's just not worth it for me. So next one, 3 Series, 8.5 grand is the maximum I want to go to on this car. No history. There we go. So I've been outbid on that one as well, which is fine, because what I've been doing just to save time is running through all of them, getting my prices together, and then going on just checking the service history as and when they're going through. 8,800 quid with no history, unless somebody knows something I don't know. Am I bidding on this? Lot 60. Yes, I am.
5, 6,
Right, I'll go to
6, 67. You'll catch up in a minute online.
6,200.
69, 7,000.
He's on this A7, is Jamie, that's coming up next. He's a bit of a character. He's bidding on that as well. See, I'd go 17 on this. Shall I bid him up? Oh.
Jamie.
That's really annoying. I just tried to bid against him. Wouldn't even accept the bid. Good on him. Well done, Jamie. That is a decent car for the money, that. Even when I try and bid against him, I bloody can't. I was going to bid him up 100 quid then, just to be a git. Right, so where are we at on this one? It's absolute auction chaos. That's 11 grand retail. There's a common theme here, isn't there? That every car that's coming through, people are working on about £1,000 to £1,500 net margin. Now, my running costs are about £10,000 a month, which is low, but that means I need to buy 2 cars, photograph them, prep them, retail them, sell them every week to break even. A bath. 4,700 quid. These prices are mental. Fortunately, because I've got a mate down there is an RS7 that's going to be coming through in a few lots. And I want him to get his eyes on it and have a listen to it and see if it sounds all right. That's actually really, really helpful. And he's the sort of bloke that would say it's a complete dog, that, or whatever. Let's see how it gets on. I have got a maximum, absolute maximum on that car of 26 grand on the RS7 that's coming through. Let's see.
Straight on with the A7, please. Straight on with the A7. In the meantime, let's get on with a car that we can sell you. Lot number 85 is the Volvo. Volvo XC90.
That's really annoying.
Thank you. Volvo XC90 D5 Power Plus R Design.
The one car that I feel I might have a decent stab on.
£12,000 I'm bidding now, but a 12 I've got. Service history, plenty of it. At £12,000, but a 12 bid now, but a 12. And if you're on your own, Stephen, I shan't dwell.
I believe he's on his own there at 12 grand, mate.
12 on bid.
No.
Okay, 12-1 to the bid.
Even the guy in the rostrum can't believe someone's bidding.
At 12,002 with a 3 bid. 12.5 with a bid once. Twice. Well, have a go, Mark.
Have a go? Like that isn't going to go through? Oh, this is just mad. And I mean, it's not going to work out, is it? We've got a Q7 coming through in one lot, and then a Volvo V90. They just wanted to watch out of interest. But there we have it. Another day of winning absolutely sod all at auction. It's so frustrating. I mean, fortunately, they've got through those cars sharpish today. We're only on 10 to 11, so I got in at about 7:30 cracking on with the prep for this. Well, I see, what, 2.5, 3 hours, whatever it is. 3.5. No. I'm sorry, I've not bought you something to look at here. What the hell's this? Oh yeah, we've got a bid on this.
11,700. £11,900, but a big bid. 11,900 I've got. £11,900, but of online, but 11,900, but a 12 on bid.
12 is a max.
£12,000, but a 12 on bid now, but a 12 I've got one bid. All
There we go.
12-1.
So there we have it. I've bought a grand deal of sod all. What I'm going to do out of interest is ring Jamie and just see what he's managed to fish out of there. But that is so frustrating. So frustrating. I've got someone who's looking for a blue TT at the moment like this, which I'm just struggling to find anywhere. So it's going to have to be a case of we're back on Auto Trader hitting the privates and winding them up, because I've got to pay the landlord and I've got to pay the council and I've got to pay everybody else before I get paid, and I've need some cars to do it. Anyway, we move on.